Hey there, and welcome to Ruck Up Buttercup, the podcast that's all about real talk for military spouses and families. I'm Sabrina, and we're so glad you're here.
And I'm Ashley, and together we dive into the ups, the downs, and everything in between that comes with military life. From deployment tips to marriage conversations to PCS chaos, finding your identity and owning it, nothing is off limits.
And I'm Laura. Whether you're folding uniforms, packing boxes, managing the home front, solo, or just trying to make it through another long week, you're in the right place. Here on Ruck Up Buttercup, we share real stories, honest conversation, and practical support for military families.
We talk about the hard stuff, the hopeful stuff, and everything in between. Because military life is anything but one size fits all.
This is a space to feel seen, supported, and reminded that you're never alone in this journey.
So lace up those boots, lift your chin, and let's ruck up Buttercup. Military life doesn't define us. We rise in.
You can also hear us on Read Across America Radio on Women in Media Wednesdays at 11 p.m. See you there. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ruck Up Buttercup, a new season 6, which is wild to think we're here, and we are so excited for a whole nother year with you guys. If you were listening to the last episode, you guys did hear that our big announcement is we're going to be doing 3 episodes a month, so that is an extra episode every single month, 12 new episodes for you guys this year, so we are so excited for all the new content and all the new stuff that we'll be providing to you guys.
I know, I'm so excited. I think that it's just been a really, really fun journey. Like, we've been doing this for 5 years, which is kind of blowing my mind because it doesn't seem like it's been 5 years.
Right.
And it's, we've grown. It's just been so fun. I love it.
I wish that we had video clips all the way from the beginning because that would have been so cute to see the big changes.
Yeah, I wonder if we can find some. I feel like we have some of those recordings somewhere.
In the Zoom somewhere, maybe.
Somewhere in the black hole of our Google Drive.
It's been interesting because I was if you guys follow us on TikTok, you just saw the clips that we made of our journey throughout the last 5 years on doing our podcast with you guys. And I was looking at we were talking about Laura's different hair and all of but my backgrounds, because I've moved so many times, of every time it's a different background happening in the back too. It's been a wild journey.
But I think that's it's a great way to show that we are going through the trenches with you guys. We are also military spouses. We are moving, we are changing, we are growing, we are doing all the things that we kind of talk about on the podcast on a daily. And so it's really fun to be able to see that as well. You can go back for so long and see that, we are also right there with you.
Yeah. And just that we've learned so much from the podcast, learning how to use nice new microphones or getting new cameras. You can tell the difference between one video to the next and you're oh, we updated things. So it's been really cool to just learn a new skill. This was never on my bucket list. It was never be oh, I'm going to have a podcast. It just happened. And then now it's all these skills that I've gained from just trying something new. It's so cool.
Everyone keeps asking us how did Ruck Up come about? And it was literally me and Sabrina just sitting there going, we should do this. This would be kind of fun. What kind of project could we do that would be fun for us? And we were let's a podcast. And I think we talked about it for 2 or 3 weeks and we're let's do it. And we did our first recording and 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah. And if you don't know, you can still listen to the first recordings. They're there. The difference is night and day, but it's very, very interesting. So yeah, with this year, we're going to be doing 3 episodes a month. So you're going to get 2 resources and guests on, which is super exciting. And then our girl chats once a month. If you follow us on TikTok, that's where we post most of our information, but we were doing a mail call. We haven't got any for this episode, the first one, but if you want us to spotlight your story, your accomplishment, anything that's going on in your military life, make sure you go find that post and send us that so that we're going to add that here at the beginning of our episode so we can highlight more of you that maybe don't feel comfortable coming on the podcast with us, but want to tell your stories. We would love to love on our community.
Yeah, and we just know that every journey is different. Every military family, every spouse, every service member's journey is different. So we definitely want to highlight that and share that, you may feel isolated and alone in that situation, but there will be likely someone out there who's going something similar as you.
Absolutely. So for today, we're going to be talking about a year in our life, just kind of talking about like moments over the last year or so that have kind of changed who we are, because we changed so much in a short time. And then kind of where we're looking for our lives, our personal lives, to go in this upcoming year.
This was kind of hard to pick because I could go with the obvious. I could go with Jeremy going on a company tour and how that is like completely just thrown a wrench into everything. But I was thinking about it, and I genuinely think something that this year was more of an internal struggle slash like epiphany. This year was the first year where I kind of said, I need to take time for myself. I need to, do the things that I'm preaching, that I am encouraging, and I'm talking about to all of the spouses here on the podcast and in Deployed Love. And so I decided that this year was going to be the year that I would take my own advice. And so I wanted to really grow this year, and I wanted to do some self-care. So I took my very first solo trip. I went to a book convention in DC for, I think it was like 4 days or something. And I had the absolute best time. Did I know anybody? Absolutely not. Did it matter? No, because I think something that's really important, I think something that we talk about a lot is just hurdling that fear of just doing it. Like, go out and just do it. Like, if you want to do something, do it. And so I knew that I personally needed a break. Like, I had been, the primary parent for the last 10 years. My husband had rapidly deployed so many times in a short amount of time, constant moving, things like that. So I was like, I really, really want to go on this trip. And I actually purchased a ticket without telling my husband, going like, I'm probably not going to get it. They were really hard to get. I got the ticket and I was like, oh, well, this is great. Okay, so now I have to figure out how to pay for the rest of this trip. Like, how am I going to pay for, the hotel? And like, when I talked to my husband, he goes, Ashley, you do so much for everybody. It's fine. We'll make this work. We'll make it work. Because I was like, I'm going to have to find a sitter and all these things. So again, I was going straight back into that mode of having to take care of everything. And Jeremy was just like, hey, slow down and go on this trip. And it was the absolute best time. I made new friends. I connected with people across the country that were outside of the military network, which I think, we talk about like having that community within the military network, but it's also kind of really important to have a community outside of that network too, because, transitioning, things like that. And so it was such a good time up until the end. And then I got hurt, but that's another story for another day. But I think that, that doing that really helped me kind of change my mindset a little bit of making sure that I take care of myself a little bit more and focus on my needs. I think as an empathetic leader, I think we're all that way, here on the podcast, and most of our volunteers at Deployed Love, we put so much into everybody else that we forget to think about ourselves. And so I kind of try to take that a little bit this year and kind of run with that. Have I done that 100% of the time? Absolutely not, because I'm still learning and still growing. So I definitely think that's something I want to continue to work on this upcoming year. Is that going to be as easy as I think it's going to be with me being a actual solo parent for a whole year, homeschooling and everything? It's probably going to be a lot more difficult, but I'm taking the steps to make sure I'm going on my trips this year that I said that we're going on, and we're not putting them to the back burner. Or, I am going to get this thing for me because that's what I want. I don't need to worry about the cost of it because I deserve something just as nice as everyone else in my family, as well as everyone around me. So that was kind of something that I really focused on this year. And then including in the growth, I was like, I really want to grow as a leader and make sure that I'm being the very best for myself and for others. And so I continued some education, which we've talked about through MSAN, Military Spouse Advocacy Network. We talked about them quite a lot here on the channel. I think they're a great resource for military spouses who are wanting to further their career, especially if you're in a leadership role. They have so many great programs. And so I did another program this year, and it was very, I'm trying, like, what do I want to use for it? It was very uplifting. It kind of brought some of my doubts that I had throughout the year of being a leader, running a nonprofit, things like that, and kind of solidify that I'm doing a damn good job. And so are the other, some of all my volunteers are. And so, like, we might be small, we might be, not as big as other organizations, but boy, we do create a really good impact. And so, yeah, I think it's just one of those, you just go with the punches and learn. I mean, right now I'm just surviving solo parenting. I don't think there's any way to kind of like, how do you handle taking this? Like, there wasn't any handle. It's like, well, that really sucks. Like, I genuinely did not think this was going to happen. My husband never gets his top 5 picks ever. And then this year he gets number 2, and he's like, well, I put it on the list. I'm like, yeah, but I was thinking we were going to get one of these 3 because you never get your top 5 ever.
Yeah.
I think anything on my list. That was the thing that made me so mad. I'm like, then why even make me pick if you're not going to send me to any of them?
I know. Yeah, my brother just had that same situation where he's in Italy and he is finishing his time there, and they're like, okay, well, put in your list of things you want, and somehow now he's going to North Dakota. He's like, this is nowhere I wanted to be.
That's going to be a shock. I mean,
listen, it is
Germany
so crazy.
to Texas was my gosh. I thought I was going to have a breakdown the first time I walked back into Target.
Yes, Alaska to Texas was kind of like a culture shock, like major culture shock. We've talked about that on the podcast so many times. Like, when you move to a different location, it is a culture shock. But yeah,
it's like its own country, because we did Germany to Texas too, and it is just massively. It's like the polar opposite of everything that we've been doing.
I remember seeing Alex's face because all we had in Germany was like the German stores, and then for toys and stuff, it was the PX or the German stores. And so he had never seen Walmart, Target, any of that. The first time I took him to Target, that little boy's face was like, what is this place?
Welcome to the world of Target, my boy.
He was 3 and was like, what are all these things? There's so much.
And it was so funny because I had this thought the other day. One of the absolute worst things, other than like having to say goodbye to your tribe and stuff when you move, is all of the places that you have to leave. All of those local spots that you absolutely love and adore. It's been 10 years, y'all, and I'm still thinking about this Mexican restaurant in Alaska and how much I really just want their mini chimichangas. And I mean, to the point where I've emailed them and asked if they would send me the recipe just to make them, because I have not found a comparable to them anywhere.
It's such a weird thing. And I feel like sometimes I forget where I am too. And I'm like, oh, we should go to that place. And then you're like, oh, that was in North Carolina. That's like nowhere near us. And it's so sad. And my kids talk about some of those places. Like, I know in North Carolina, it was Pine Scones. My kids wanted to go there every day when we were there. And it's like, that doesn't exist anywhere else. Like, there's nothing similar to it. I've never seen another scone place that's like so good. You just don't have access to.
It's one of those things where, I feel like we're just going to go a deep dive on this, but it's one of those things where it is such a hard thing to be like, oh, do you remember when we went to this place and we had this and it was so good, or this was so fun? I think that's a great experience as military spouses. We get to do. We get to go try new places. We get to go to different places, but we also have to say goodbye to those places.
Yeah, we do.
It's awesome. We don't think about that. I always think about that, how we say goodbye to our tribe and our jobs that we had, things like that. But the little things matter just.
And it's still grief too. I think is one of those things that, like, especially this time of year, as we're recording this, you guys are hearing this in January, but at this time of year, it's at the end, like we're close to Christmas and New Year's. And if you've ever lived in Germany,
yes,
it breaks you for the rest of your life. Like there is no comparison in America to what the holidays are in Europe. And my kids every day, they're like, yeah, but if we were in Germany, and it's like, honey, we're not though. We're trying to make it.
We have to find new traditions. I mean, that's what, it's great to learn and all that kind of stuff. But, Jeremy's over in Poland and he went to the largest Christmas mart in Poland this past weekend. And I was like, I am so jealous. Like, I'm so happy for you.
Christmas market though, right? Like his first.
No, it wasn't his very first one. So he went to Poznan. So Poznan had theirs a couple weekends before, but
first year in Europe.
Yes, this is his first year experience. He's gonna come
back and it's just never the same. And it's such a weird thing because I think
I'm just hoping
about it's America is such a capitalism, and it's all about like Christmas here is all about buying things. Where in Europe it's not. It's about like, let's go have glühwein at the festival and just sit outside and talk all evening. Like it's just such a different, how they celebrate is so different from what
I know. I'm really hoping Jeremy at least enjoys Europe. He's not enjoying the job at all. We were talking yesterday and I was like, listen, please don't let this ruin other opportunities to go to Europe. Just saying this, like, please. I know you don't like the job. I know it's stressful. You're dealing with a lot of stupidness, but it's Europe. Please, at least. I mean, he's enjoying the outside, I think. Like, he really has been enjoying going out and exploring things like that. So we'll see. But it's only been 3 months. which is crazy to say that it's been 3 months already that
I mean,
he's
yeah,
been
you're
gone.
already.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I guess it's not been 3 months. It's been 2 months as of today. But by the time he comes home for Christmas break, it will be 3 months from the time that we see him. And so, like, it's kind of crazy to think that we are already, we're already 60 days down as we're recording this, and it's, I'm like, I just hope it keeps going as fast. But I also am like, wait, this is going by too fast. Like, I have things that I need to get done that I am not getting done.
Yeah. So we can go back to like what for me this year, I think it's so hard to say. I learned a lot of lessons because we've basically done 2 entire PCSs. And so there was a lot of like, how do you put yourself out there in different situations, especially when you're in your mid 30s? Like that's a totally different world because yeah, it's a weird age
40,
too.
so
I feel like because some of our friends have like babies and some of our friends have teenagers in high school and you're like, where do you fit in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And because we're kind of right in the middle, we're middle grade kind of. My kids are like in middle school, and just finding the right group and everything has been different. And I think that it has shaped me is probably just setting boundaries because I think especially coming back with To Play Love, I knew that I love to play love and I could make it my entire existence, and that's great for To Play Love, not so great for myself because then I don't spend time doing anything for me. And I've set a lot of boundaries and it worked out really well for most of the year. I feel like maybe towards the end of the year, not just with To Play Love, but with homeschool and everything, I've kind of like, I'm like, why are we so busy? Probably because I've like let loose any boundaries. And it's like, oh, this is why, because I've been doing so much for everybody. And so I think it's something I need to focus on still again next year is like how much can I do for others, but how much do I need to do for myself? Like you're saying,
Exactly.
you have to put yourself somewhere and it can't be the end.
You do. And I think that setting the boundaries is really important. I've tried to set those boundaries. I've said no. I have tried so hard this year to be like, say no to other things. Say no, we're not doing that right now. Or say no. The kids keep asking, can we do dance and scouts and stuff? And I'm like, at this time, no. Maybe after the holiday season, after New Year's, when we can get our lives still kind of like, we're still adjusting. And I feel this adjustment period is taking way too long, in my opinion. But again, I'm adjusting without having a spouse as well. He moved and then he immediately left. So I think boundaries are so important. And I'm so proud of the boundaries you set for yourself because you've been really, this is the max I can do. And I absolutely love that.
Well, I think it's just, I want to live peaceful. That's just, if you know me, like I'm a very chill person. And so then when I don't, like I'm not living in like my happy realm, then I'm like mean to everybody. And it doesn't, you wouldn't think that, but I am so mean, especially to my family. Like if I'm stressed out, instead of like telling them I'm stressed out, I'm like yelling at them about random things. And it's like, that's not fair either. So, and I know this coming year, it's going to be more stressful with Kira starting high school. It's a whole other world. We get to start, especially with homeschooling. Like I don't even know. And I was talking to someone yesterday. They were like, "Oh, what are you doing for high school next year?" I was like, "I don't know. We're like 6 months away." Like I
really know what I'm doing the week ahead of time, guys. I love how everyone's like, "What are you guys planning to do?" And I'm like, at this point, like I'm such a planner, and so I think it also is kind of like really like is a struggle. But I barely know what I'm doing the week before something happens, just because like that's how survival mode it is right now.
Well, that's also like my introvert in me. Like, so I'll put everything in my calendar and I'll be like, oh yeah, these are all the things that are coming up. And then by that week, I'm like, not doing that one, not doing that one. I'm like, just kidding.
I need to be better at saying, hey, like we are like capped out. Like I can't go to another social event today. One, not just because I love the social aspect. I do like the social aspect. I'm the extrovert, but I need to be able to set my priorities. Like, okay, is that a priority today, or is my to-do list more of a priority?
And it's so hard as you start to make new friends. Like we have really connected here in Las Cruces, and we have 3 different friend groups essentially that we hang out with, and they're all bidding for attention, especially this time of year where they're like, we're gonna do holiday parties, we're gonna do, and it's like I can only do like a couple things a week because if I do everything every day with you guys, when do we do school? When do I work? When do like there's so many other things that like I don't, and I see those families doing it. I'm like, kudos to you, but I have no idea how you're doing an activity every single day and getting anything else done.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when you're commuting, because we have to drive like 25 to 30 minutes to Columbus. So like everything that all of the shopping and all of our activities are either on Fort Benning or over in Columbus area. So it is a half a day adventure. Like it really is. And so that's kind of been my struggle is, you know, because I really am enjoying that the kids have made some really good friends in homeschool group. They're like, is it time to go yet? Is it time to go yet? They're so excited to go and do things with their friends. And it's been nice to meet other people. I think that's why I kind of keep saying yes too, is because we are still building those relationships. And I still haven't found my group. I really enjoy the moms in the homeschool group. So I do really enjoy them. And I've really enjoyed the families that have been coming to the Deployed Love Fort Benning play dates. I've connected with several of them. So I just want to continue to build that relationship because I want it to be an actual relationship and not me there in the capacity as the executive director.
My thing is we've definitely have within these different friend groups, we've really built like a good relationship over the last 6 months. But it's like, which ones do we want to commit more time to? Because that honestly feels stretched thin. And there are ones where like, oh, we're only kind of friends with them because they're friends with Darren. Like Darren has friends in this group, and we're only kind of friends with this group because Kira's friends with one of them. And then it's like, but this group fits really well. Do we just eliminate the other ones, which sucks? Like, because we do have those friends in those groups, but it's like I can't commit to these like 3 things a week, and that's what it's becoming.
I haven't even gone to the other homeschool group here or the 2 other ones because I just couldn't do more than one. So I was like, I'm doing this one. This one is military. This is who we're going with. And so, and I'm glad I made that choice because I don't think I could have.
Yeah, we have like a Monday group that just does play dates on Mondays, and it's been really nice, but Kira has nobody there. Like there's nobody her age, and she just sits there and stares at me like the entire time we're there. And so like I know Darren, that's where all his friends are though. So it's like it is a huge commitment, and they're always complaining like I leave early. I'm like, well, I have life. Like I don't know how you guys can spend like 4 hours, 5 hours at the park. Gosh. I can't do that. Like I have.
That's what ours is turning into because the kids are just having such a good time that we are there for hours. I need to start bringing work with me because all the moms were actually talking about that yesterday at the play date because we were like, okay, like this is great, but we could also be productive during this time frame. And I'm like, I probably will start bringing my computer moving forward. Just, interact for an hour and then go and work for an hour while they're continuing to play.
You have
and
to
I'm
do
a bad homeschool mom. We don't do homeschool groups. Okay. We have karate like 4 days a week.
Yeah, that's still a ton of.
I love our karate group, and one of the people that I met when I first moved back to Texas in 2015, her daughter is in karate with Alex, and so they live like right down the street. So on Fridays, I can drop Alex off at karate, and she'll bring him home because she literally just has to stop or yield at my house to let him jump out, and then she just goes home. And it has been so nice to have somebody I can be like, hey, I really need to do this tonight. Can you bring Alex home? And she's like, girl, I have to be there anyway, and I literally have to drive by your house just to get to my house. I'm good. Yes, I will bring him home. That's awesome. It's nice because her daughter is similar to Alex. She has something different than what Alex has, but she can't have dairy, so she always has snacks that Alex can have. And it's just I love having somebody to help if we need it. But I mean, I do also like the fact, because Alex is now in a leadership role within the kid part of the karate, I can just drop him off. Like last Saturday, he helped with Christmas like sale day, and I dropped him off at 9:30 and picked him up at 1. And there were all the, instructors there, so I didn't have to worry about anything crazy. But it was just so nice that I personally did not have to sit there from 9:30 to 1 because my kid was involved in this. I could just drop him off. He was working, doing whatever the adults told him to, and then I just picked him up when it was time.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is we have this other group that we met through the homeschool group, but they're actually just our friends now, and we hang out. And we were kind of like, what if we just made our own little like co-op that's kind of like our own little baby thing, and only the people we wanted it, and it just makes it simpler because I'm really good friends with the moms. Like we have a hell of a good time. Like we go to the mall and the teens all go walk around and we play Skip-Bo or whatever. We're just laughing and having so much fun. So I'm like, I really wish that was our group. And I think that the biggest issue is there's only one little boy. Like there's only one other person there, and it's like they get along, but that's not his friends. And it's like, how do you find something for everybody that everybody's happy is kind of been the struggle for us. Like I would be very content with just dropping everything else and being like, this is our thing. We do this on Thursdays. This is our thing, and that's it. But I know that isn't entirely fair to everybody in our family.
Yeah. I think that's kind of just that thought mentality. Apply it to military life. It may not always be fair at that time, but just think there will always be other opportunities and time for you to have your opportunities, if that makes sense. Everyone's kind of like, I don't have a career. I can't have a career my service members in, unless your service member is planning to be in over 20 years, it's not that long that most of our military community is in actual service. And so it is kind of a shorter time frame. So, again, we just keep going back to just survive. Just do what you have to do to make it through every single day in a healthy manner. So whether that is connecting, volunteering, supporting others, getting a job, whatever that may be, that is how we survive everyday military life.
I would love for next year to not just be on survive. I feel like I'm like, I want to click out of that. I want to be able to chill.
I just don't know how to click out of that when you're like, I guess like for me, as soon as I feel I can click out of it, something stupid happens, like rapid deployment or unaccompanied tour, or I don't know what could
it never ends. It never ends. And I think that like even right now, like he's settled into his job, and I feel like things are going well. It's still always like,
you always have that thought. Yeah, you always have that inkling thought of like this could end at any moment, and so. And that's like a horrible, like it is honestly like a horrible way to have to live. I don't think it bothers me necessarily so much because this has literally been my entire life. I've grown up that way. I have been married into it. This is just my known. So I can see how this would be a huge struggle for individuals who have no military background whatsoever.
It definitely would be different. So like, I don't have a military background, but I was telling my kids, I've moved all the time still throughout my life. So like I don't think I could live in one place for a solid amount of time. Like, I know that I would be like, oh, what? Because even when we were in North Carolina, we moved to a second house. Like, that's how, like, we've been in one place for too long kind of situation. So, like, I don't think I ever really want that settled feeling. But at the same time, it's like, it would be nice to just have, like, a solid job. Like, a solid place where you're like, this is where we're going to live. And whether we rent and we just move
around. Put down your roots. Just put your roots down and be able to stay in that community. I think that's important. I think that adventurous, like I'm so scared of when Jeremy actually retires because I don't know how I will feel being in one place for a really long time either.
I think then you would get to go on vacation
and do
stuff, but for fun and not for like, oh, I have to find where my coffee shop is. I have to find like that chaos of like, I need to settle into this place as fast as possible. You would get to travel and you'd get to like enjoy things for the time.
I know. How long have you been down there in Texas?
We moved, so back here, I've been in Copper's Cove for 10 years now, but
it's blowing my mind.
I know. I was like, wait, 10 years ago I was in Germany? No, wait, oh crap. Yeah. Alex is 13. Holy crap. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, Astrid is turning 11. Oh yeah. Cause she was born there. So
I love PCS, and I think that's so crazy to say, but I absolutely love the adventure and the journey. Yes, it can be super chaotic and super stressful during some of the process, but I love getting to go to a new location and reconnect with old friends who may be there, find new things, go explore the surrounding areas, because like you don't get this opportunity in the civilian life, like on an average occasion. This is such a great opportunity to explore and find your forever home, because some people are like, I never want to live in my hometown, I want to move away, but you have no idea where to go, like no clue. This is a great opportunity.
I wouldn't even know where we would want to go because there's too much veterans benefits here in Texas that it's just like, well, then we would just be picking and choosing the veterans benefits that we want, or we wouldn't be close to a VA, or, the kids' specialty doctors wouldn't be there. And it's just like, why do I want to try and look for all that again when we have it right here? Maybe if that changes and, their doctors retire or something like that. But luckily, all of our doctors are not that old, so they'll probably be
they'll be around
aging out of pediatrics before their doctors retire. So luckily.
I think it's just a thing that, if you find a place, make it home.
I mean, I love being here? there's probably better. I do like that, I'm close to Austin. I'm close enough to my hometown. If I need to get there, I'm 2 hours away. But it's like, I don't have any other family. His family can come here way more easy than we can drive up there. It's just like, we own a house. Why bother trying to sell it? Why try to find something else? The housing market is crap.
It's crazy. I mean, I think it kind of goes back to like what Sabrina was saying with boundaries. Like, set the boundaries. Like, you don't have to move back home
No.
because your family wants you to come back home. You don't have to stay where you're at because that's where you're at. Obviously, you want to make sure you're financially able to move and things like that. But when you're in that transition period of whether you're, retiring or just getting out, like, there are so many things that you do have to think about. Like, obviously, like job market and things like that. Like, I do hope that military members and their families are having those conversations together, communication, because we preach that here on the podcast, that it's so important that you guys are communicating and making sure you are both on the same page as to what that next chapter of life is going to be.
Because it's so important. You were talking about loving PCSing, and I know I do. I know what my family genuinely does. Like, I know Darren has come up to me being like, do you love that feeling of a new house when you're just exploring it? He's like, I want to do that again. And I'm like, can we just not? Like, it's been twice this year. I think that's do I
want to do it twice in a year now?
No, not again, ever again. But it was interesting because, like, I was talking to Dustin the other night, and I was like, hey, I know, like, you just finished all this training. He just graduated from a bunch of stuff this week. And I was like, so do we like this job? Like, are we good with it for a while? And he's like, well, I still want to go to Germany. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I do too. But I was like, but we're nice. Like, things have settled here. Like, we feel like this has been really good for us as well. And so it's kind of like, we need to figure out what our ultimate goal is. Because yeah, I would love to live in Germany, but there's so much instability and like that, like uncertainty when you move there. Like, is that somewhere we can live? Because that was our retirement goal. And then to have that ripped out from underneath of us was a really shocking situation to be put into.
Well, you don't want to put yourself back into
that.
Yeah.
And it's scary because you never know when it's government jobs. I mean, even all these DOD people at the beginning of the year who lost their jobs, like, it's just, it's never quite stable. So it's always like, oh, I wish that we could just find a job and live in Germany permanently. Like, where can we get a job where you can just be a German and just stay there? Kind of like, but that's not an option. And so, yeah, we definitely are on that, like, communication point. Like, where is this still what we want? Is that, I know it is, but how do we make that where it's going to be stable enough for our kids? Especially, I mean, Kira's starting high school. Like, that is 4 years. It would be nice for her to be in one place and to experience things with her friends and stuff like that. So
and again, that's okay to set that boundary of saying, hey, like, this is a good spot for us. Like, we don't need to chase after our job because that's what we wanted 2-3 years ago. This may be what we need right now, and then that could be something we can go back later on. But I do think that it's so, so important to have those conversations over and over again, because, like, it changes. I mean, because we grow, we learn, we have new experiences that shape how we think and do things, that you really do have to continue to have those conversations internally and with those around you of what are your wants and needs and how to go day to day.
Yeah, for sure. So 2026, do you guys have anything that is like big plans, goals? I know, Ashley, you were saying there was things that you wanted to get done before you got home.
No, listen, I am going on trips this year. I am so excited. I mean, I have goals. I have work goals. I have so many goals in hopes and dreams for Deployed Love, and I'm so excited that we have the team to kind of fulfill that again. So I'm very, very, very excited to see how 2026 shapes up for Deployed Love and the podcast in general. But I'm going on trips this year, guys. Jeremy's in Europe, and I was like, listen, like, I don't care if we have to put money on a credit card. We're going on these trips. Or if I'm going to have to figure out how to, do hops and get from, Georgia to Poland by myself with 2 kids and suitcases, I will figure it out, because I want my kids to experience Europe. I lived there as a teen, and it had such a profound shaping of who I am today. So I really want them to experience it and we have a little, like, we don't have to pay for housing or anything like that. Like, you know, my husband has an apartment and stuff like that. So like, it's a perfect opportunity for us to go and just kind of immerse ourselves for a few weeks in Europe and have that experience. And then also, because we PCS during our anniversary this year, we did not get to do our anniversary trip that we were planning for a 15-year anniversary. So I am doing a separate trip without kids at the end of the year to do something. I told my husband, I was like, even if you don't get to go on this trip, I'm still coming and I'm still going to go do something. Like, if that means I'm doing a trip to Greece by myself, then listen, I had a great time on my solo trip back in April just to DC. What will happen if I go to Greece by myself? Like, I'm not letting this get pushed to the side again. Like, I was like, this is happening. We didn't do a honeymoon. We have never done an actual trip other than to maybe the beach for the weekend or to visit family. And so, and if you're listening to this, don't be me. Take those trips, do the things. There are so many great organizations out there, which we hope we'll have some of them this season, who can help you travel and find ways to do it where it's cost effective and find those discounts and all the things that, you know, are out there for military families. I mean, there's so many different things out there. I think we've talked about like the Armed Forces Vacation Club before on the podcast, but that's just one of the things that I know my family has used over the last several decades. But take those trips because life is really short and life goes by really fast. Like, I'm sitting going, like, we've been married, like, we've been together for 20 years this upcoming year. And I'm just kind of like, how have we never done actual vacation? Like, this is, I don't really consider a trip to New York a vacation because it was just kind of a huge cluster. Like, it was just a huge mess. And I got engaged on that trip. You would think that would be my favorite trip we've ever done, but it really was not my favorite trip, guys. I was not happy camper for majority of that trip. But yeah, just
that sounds
do it.
So fun. I'm excited for you because that's so much excitement. Like, right now we're at this point where like the houses should is a big word, be listed at some point by the end of the year. I don't know. It was supposed to be up on the 1st, so whatever. But having the house sold and then just having that clean slate is what I'm so excited for. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, my mom wants me to go on a cruise, but it's like a 12-day cruise to Hawaii with her and my grandma. And I was like, that'd be super fun. I have no idea how that would work for my family, but sounds great. Maybe I'll just drop them off at somebody else's house and be like, good luck with that for 12 days. But so I don't know. Like, I think we're still such in a survival mode, I think, with selling the house and then, you know, ultimately deciding where we want to go after this and if it's here or if it's not. And then, yeah, there's so many things that are still up in the air. And so, like, I don't know exactly what my goals look like for next year as far as fun. Like, and that sucks because we haven't done anything fun for years because we've just been like here and it just, what's next? Are we going to move again in 6 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. Getting out of debt is probably the hugest goal for us, is to sell that house and then just to see all those numbers just disappear. Any credit card debt, any of that stuff is going to be so nice. And I have my journal here, the goals, and I think most of my stuff is to do more creative stuff because I love doing that. And I'll get into these spurts of like sewing and doing all these projects, and then I put it aside and then I don't touch it again for like 5 months. It was like, what? Yeah. Well, and I took a photography class. A lot of my friends know that. And I think I maybe want to do photography again. It's just one of those things, like, it's like, is it worth the investment? Because anybody who knows on military bases, there's 5,000 photographers. So it's a time investment, whether it's really worth investing your time.
I mean, some of my favorite pictures are from you, so.
Yeah, I love doing it, but then I put it on the side because Deploy Love needed more time. And then at this point, like, I have the time to do it, but it marketing, and then there's so many people who are already established, it's hard to reestablish something. So we'll see what I do, but it would be nice to also have that extra play money. Then we could go on trips. It's just extra time and space. So.
I mean, you did I'm turning 30 photo shoot, and in October I'll turn 40. So that was 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it has. Yeah.
I feel like if you just manifest your wants for the year, they're more likely to actually happen. Like, if you take the time to actually put energy into what you're wanting to do, whether that is a new hobby, a new craft, a trip, to save money, to lose weight, to eat better, whatever the case may be, I think if you really do set your mind to it and not make excuses, I think I did that a lot in the past. You know, I we're not going to be able to get that. We're not going to be able to go on that trip. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some of this money that we have saved for that trip instead. And then because of those type of like mentalities, that trip never happened because we didn't have the funds. And so I think if you take the time to actually like say, no, this is happening and I'm going to make sure this happens no matter what, like whether if that is delayed a couple weeks or whatever the case may be, I think that you're more likely to actually meet those goals than to just like have it written down on your like thing at the beginning of the year and say, hey, this is what I want to do this year. Obviously there are times where you're not gonna be able to do it. Like last year we said we were going to go on this trip, but you know, because
the military will provide you times where that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Listen, it does. And so I was like, you know, look, we could have taken the trip earlier in the year, which actually we couldn't because then Jeremy was at ROTC summer camp for the whole summer prior to us moving. So like it was one of those things where we're like, okay, well, this will not happen before we PCS and you go on your and this is before we knew he was going on his unaccompanied tour. This was we'll be PCSing, we just didn't know where. So like, okay, we'll PCS, we'll get settled, and then maybe we can do a trip in like January, February timeframe. Mm-hmm. And they got the unaccompanied tour, and I was like, okay, well, that's just not happening at all in any time right now. So then we did decide to take the funds that we had saved to go towards buying a house. So we did redo that, but you know, again, I'm still making sure that this is happening. So if that means that I'm not going, you know, out to eat this week to put that money or whatever case, like making those conscious decisions of like, do I need that coffee today? Do I need, you know, to go have lunch while we're out? No, we can pack our lunch or we can go home for lunch, which is easier said than done if you're only a few minutes from home. 30 minutes away, sometimes it's a little harder. But, you know, making like, you know, trying to teach the kids like, hey, yeah, we can get that Lego set today. Or we cannot, and make sure that we're putting this money aside so that way we can go see dad.
And the answer is always Legos at my house, though.
I know. It's always Legos at my house, too. They're always like, oh, Legos.
But you know, we're going to Disney this coming up year.
I love that. The kids want to go to Disney too, and I'm like, listen, we can't do all of this in 1 year. Maybe the following year when dad gets back, we'll talk him into going to Disney. But like, we are doing Europe. Like, that is what we're doing. There's no other in between, guys. Like, we are going to see dad. We are going to go to Europe for, you know, however long we want, because that's great about homeschooling and working from home is we can have that flexibility. So I'm really, really, really thankful that we can do that.
We're definitely planning when the whole state of Florida is already in school, and we're going to go during the week because we're doing it right before I'm turning 40, and then the same month Chloe turns 18. So we're calling it a birthday trip. So whatever, but I'm excited because we're going to do Universal too. We're going to do some days at Disney and some days at Universal.
Yes, I love Universal. I love Universal.
I mean, there's parts of both that I want. So we're like, if we're there, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So,
well, and especially this year with the pricing for the tickets, like especially if you live really close or you plan on going more than one time, like this is the year to go.
But even if you're just going to go for a couple days, it's still cheaper just to do that.
Well, and then it may give you the opportunity to be like, oh, well, we can totally do another trip because you can listen, guys.
I can turn and burn Orlando real fast from
like
Colleen.
I know. I sent Jim, like when they came out with the announcements of the tickets, I was like, dang it. I said we weren't going, but this is kind of a good deal to like I'm still kind of like
close now. Like you're easy day trip.
Well, and I mean, I think it's exactly 6 hours from my house to Disney. And I'm like, okay, we could easily, like, that's manageable. One, I mean, I felt like Fort Bragg was only 8.5 hours. So, like, it still wasn't a bad drive from Fort Bragg. But I was like, you know, there are so many, you know, we can stay off installation or off, like, property. There's the Shades of Green, which is actually a really good.
I thought Shades of Green was cute.
Less than $200 a night. Unless they change prices this year. I haven't looked for 2026. But there are so many things to do there. I mean, my kids had an amazing time when we went a few years ago. My parents took us, like all the kids, grandkids, a few years ago. Well, I mean, this was probably, 4 years ago. Claire was about 3. And she still talks about it till this day about, can we go back to Disney? And I'm like, no, not yet. But I don't want to go back into Claire's slightly older though. Also, like that's kind of been my hesitation because like if we're gonna go, we're going, and I want to be able to enjoy the rides and do all the
coasters, yeah.
She's still very kind of hesitant on a lot of things, and so I'm kind of like, I think we need to wait like one more year at least, and then maybe at that point, like then we can go. There's the four of us. We can each ride the rides together, and no one's gonna be left behind. Or no, I mean, I'm a person where I'm like, I do not have to go on every single roller coaster. I do that for myself though, because then I get motion sickness really easily. So I make that choice of going like, I want to go on this one, but I'm okay not to do these. You guys go do these. I'll stay with the babies. But, you know, I also don't want us to go and just be kind of like limited on what we can do because Claire's too scared or whatever the case may be. So
I'm the one who has to sit out, and not because I want to.
Yeah.
But because I will
you're
on that thing. And it sucks because and it's weird. I never know which one is going to get me because sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm like, cool, fainting go.
But I love that you still live your life. Like you still go out and enjoy and do all the things with your kids. You just, I mean, you know your limitations and sometimes you don't get to like do all the things. But again, I think that's
I will 100% be getting a little motor scooter just to make it so that I can do more because winning that for $50 a day or whatever it is
one of the best things you can do is if you, like just do it. Like do what you have to do.
And then I don't have to carry everybody's crap. Put it in the basket.
Also, you don't just want to be tired. Like I remember, so we went to Disney in 2000. So we went to Disney before we moved and I had just fractured my ankle. Now this was a time where I think you did not have to go through guest services to get the pass or anything if you have a disability or you can't stand in lines long enough for whatever reason. This was a time where you're in a wheelchair, you're on crutches, you got to just skip the line. So I was definitely one of the, like, used as a pass and was just bouncing around to everybody in the family, which was like 15 of us. So I was I rode Space Mountain like 38 times. Guys. I'm not even exaggerating that. It literally was 38 times in a day. So it's one of the things where you just enjoy it, live life, do what you can. Because I mean, it's so short and like you may not have these opportunities later in life because of jobs, you know, insecurities or anything like that, where you may not be financially stable to do these. But if you can now, do it. And you don't have to have your spouse with you. Like that's another thing I think we talk about. Like, don't feel bad about doing trips or activities or things like that if your spouse is gone, because then you're just gonna be miserable. Like obviously, like you don't want to go on like back to back trips without your spouse because your spouse is gone. But you know, don't sit at home during spring break or summer vacation with your kids because dad's gone, mom's gone on a deployment, because then your kids aren't gonna have those memories. And you know, the first like couple of times Jeremy deployed, I was like, okay, we'll wait for dad to get home. And I was like, we can't. Like, I can't keep waiting for dad to be able to go on these trips or come home because he's in the military. He's 11 Bravo. He's always gone, guys. Like, whether it's 2 days here, a week here, a year, it doesn't.
You know it, you'll put your whole life on pause. Like,
you can't. So, like, you know, that mindset kind of went out the window. I mean, I still did things, but the mindset went out the window about 4 or 5 years ago. Right before a Disney trip, I would probably say, like, we knew Jeremy wouldn't get to go on the Disney trip because he was deployed, but we weren't going to change that because he was deployed. Like, my parents are like we were like, we're still going to go, but you know, like we've done trips to Dollywood, we've gone camping, we've done all these things without Jeremy because I want to make sure that my kids have this experience that, like, me growing up as a military kid, I remember I visited family, but like, you know, I didn't get to go do summer camps. I didn't get to go on these grand trips during the summer because either I was visiting my bio dad and my grandparents, or we were sitting at home with someone who was a sitter because my mom was working. And so I don't want my kids, not saying that we didn't do trips, like we did do trips, but like, I want them to remember their childhood of, you know, we had a great time. Dad wasn't there, but like we still had a great time, and they get to tell their dad about all the things they got to do and show their excitement. I'm sure Jeremy appreciates not going to some of the locations that we go to. He's not a Disney daddy, but I do know that he would have loved to see like Claire all dressed up in her dress from Bibi Bobbidi Boutique and things like that. So like, you know, you got to do what's best for your family. but live. Like, that's like, I think, like, just live and do the things. Like, if you have a goal or something that you're wanting to obtain, like you want to get a new job, you want to go back to school, you want to volunteer, whatever the case may be, just say yes and just do it. Like, just take that like leap of faith, I guess. Like, worst case, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, and you can just cut your ties and say thank you, see you later.
Mhm.
I think that's just like, especially in a military family, you have to kind of always have that like little bit of courage to do something that's hard or may seem hard for you. Like, even like just getting out and meeting new friends. Like, the amount of times I see, I'm an introvert, I really just I don't know how to get out and meet friends or anything like that, like post it on social media. And I think that's a great opportunity. Well, I think one, when you're posting that is you being courageous. Like, you are getting outside of your comfort zone and saying, hey, I need a community. I need help. I need someone to be in my corner. You'll be able to find that because you took that little leap of faith and was like, someone will be there to find you. And then, like I said, we're a military community. There are bad apples, but there's always, those spouses out there who want to be friends, who want to have a community, who want to support you.
For sure. I've definitely had the experience of making new friends, and you just have to put yourself out there. Like, it's
that's why I'm here.
And you can do it without kids. I've made friend groups where it's because of book club, or you just went and you started going to the same coffee shop and you start talking to people like working at the coffee shop and you make friends. So I know that that's a lot of excuses, like, oh, well, I don't have like a kid, so we can't go to play dates and stuff.
I hate that
go to the play date anyways.
Come to the play date. The moms are there for connection and community. Like, I keep seeing people post like, I don't have any kids. Like, anyone would be my friend. I'm like, I get it. Like, there may be times where you may not want, like, you want to have someone who's in a similar boat as you. Like, maybe be working spouse, no kids, dog mom, whatever the case may be. I get that. But I also think that like having friends in different stages of life is so important. Like, I love having, like, I think some of my dearest friends are like 10 years younger than me, guys. And I absolutely adore them, or are older than me. And I think that's because like they're in different stages. So there are ways that we can connect that, yeah, we have a lot of similarities because of things that we like, or we're military spouses, or whatever the case may be. But there are things that we can learn from each other as well. And I think that's what makes a beautiful partnership and friendship, is when you can learn from each other.
I've learned that from homeschooling, is because you watch our kids, like, everybody's so used to the public school world of like, oh, well, you hang out with your peers. And I think that that's a lot of where this friendship, like, I can't be friends with people because I don't have kids and they have kids situation, it falls in that same, like, my peers. But anytime that I've stepped out of that, like, even when we lived in Germany, I played bunco, and at the time I was in my 20s and they were like biddies, like they were like in their late 40s, a 50-year-old. And it was so much fun. They were just like these people who like knew
now
things,
we're them,
right? Yeah,
now we're that.
And I would still hang out with all the 20-year-olds. Like, I really don't care. Like, I think it's cool, like you're saying, that we have an experience. So you don't have kids now, but what if you do in a couple of years? Then you have someone be like, oh my God, what do I do? Because you'll have people, instead of just having a bunch of friends who don't have kids, because then you're like, well, I don't know what to do in this situation.
I mean, at the end of the day, just because I have a kid doesn't mean that I am not going to connect with you in some way. Like, if you're, outdoor enthusiast, book lover, person who likes to start projects and then not complete them because you were like, oh, I want to try this project instead because you have ADHD, like, whatever the case may be. Like, there are, like, I genuinely would, like, I would love to make friends outside of just talking about my kids. Like,
definitely,
I can only talk about my kids so much, guys. I love them to death, but boy, they're not my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to talk about, what's going on in the world, or advocacy, or the book I've read, or the book I didn't like, or whatever the case may be. Like, so I think like, if you are truly looking to find a community, you can overlook like, oh, well, these are all moms. Well, okay.
But a community isn't just your peers. Like, that, you look around your neighborhood, everybody is different ages. They're all going through different things. Like, you build what you want in your community, and it should be diversity. It should be different things and experiences to see
again,
where to go.
The community, you're learning, you're growing, you're taking in different cultures and traditions, and I think that's what I absolutely love about the military lifestyle, is that you get to have that experience and get to learn everything. Like, I have learned so much from other military spouses from different cultures and different religions and all the different things that I didn't know, because I grew up military, so I had that like experience and I knew a lot about it because I was surrounded by it. But the fact that I'm still learning is amazing, and that's, should show you that that's what you should be looking for in a relationship. Whether, because let's be real, like, a friendship is a relationship. Like, you have to put in just as much effort into it as the other person to make sure that it is continuing to grow and work.
Definitely. Yeah.
I love it.
I do too. So it's going to be a good year. I think we're going to have a good time. As far as if you want to be a guest, we still have that application open right now. It's only open for the first 3 months, but you can click a selection that you want to be on one of the later months if you're busy through the first 3 months. Because the sooner we fill the schedule, the more exciting, and we can like tell you guys about what's coming up and everything like that. So
I know, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm genuinely excited for this upcoming year, and just like sharing more knowledge, sharing more resources, sharing more stories. We've been doing this for 6 years and we're still learning about new programs, new nonprofits, new resources, all the things, and learn about new stories. The military, like when we first started, is very different from the military today. So like there's new stories, there's new things that are happening that we can't wait to share with you guys, because it is one of those things where like it's a constant, I don't know how to explain this where I don't sound like that was made up, Ashley. Like, it's just a constant like ebb and flow. Like, it's constantly changing, it's constantly growing, decreasing, increasing, all the different things. Like, it's there. And so we're just here to kind of help you, navigate it so you don't like get taken out. Like, that's, I guess the case, like, have those tools in your toolbox. Like, have these, like, hey, like, my husband's never going to do an unaccompanied tour. I never thought that, literally, guys, I have said my entire career, we would never geo-batch. Like, I was very adamant that we stayed together. I saw what my parents did a little bit of geo-batching towards the end of my dad's career. I saw how it kind of like didn't work out in the best way. And so I was like, we're not doing it. And here we are. Mm-hmm. But we're here because of our relationship and our communication and our that we have belief in both of us to do the very best for each other, so that we can come back as a family and be the biggest, bestest, strongest unit. But you have to just, manage it and take your time.
Yeah, things change. Yeah, so follow us. That is the biggest thing that we're asking this year. We really want to grow. We want to, not that we want to grow to meet more people, but we just want to get our community growing. Like, you guys are here. We see you following, like watching and listening to the episodes. We see that. So like, say hi.
Yeah, say hi.
Email, call, so that we can tell your stories, anything like that. We would just love to grow within our community that we've already built, like have you guys be part of it and more interactive. So follow us. I feel like mostly we're on TikTok. We share things across all the platforms. But if you really want to reach us, TikTok is where we hang out, I think.
And on all those platforms, like, what's going to help us is liking, saving, commenting on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, however you're watching it, that's really going to help us kind of grow and get, to more military spouses, because we know that we need to share these information. That's why we started the podcast. Like, we knew that this information needs to get out in a more accessible way. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that this is getting to as many spouses, so that way when they need it, they have quick access to it. So liking, commenting, sharing, following would be great on all of the platforms. We would love to have you, because that's why we're here. At the end of the day, we're here to support you guys. We're here to support all of us, deployed love and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're here for you guys.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. And as we like to say, Ruck Up Buttercup.
Bye, everybody.